Hi, Michelle Cromer.
And I'm Perla Maldonado.
And y'all have tuned into our podcast, Creating a Meaningful Life, where we ask ourselves big questions and we search for meaningful answers. How are you, Perla?
Doing okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's getting warmer down here.
No, yeah.
I don't know, we're not in the Northeast, we're in Texas, so I kind of like that. I like that weather. Well, this podcast has been inspired by questions I've gotten on people that are traveling to sacred sites. I have a book, The Power and Purpose of Place, that I'm finishing up into 50 sacred sites around the world. And there are some things that we need to do.
Like, prepare to go to the site, you mean?
Yeah, to go, just like some
You don't
things.
just show up?
You just don't show up because I think that it's, people can be so disrespectful, but they don't mean to be disrespectful. They just don't understand it. So we wanted to talk about a couple of things like, number one, research the site that you're going to go to. I know that sounds really simple,
Yes.
but I can't tell you how many people have showed up to sites that I've been to and I'm hearing them say, well, Machu Picchu, well, what do you think this? I mean, really, just what I love to do is I love to read a book about it. Then that way that brings into focus the religious customs and if there's any rituals I'm supposed to do or practices that I should adhere to. And also I want to know, like the weather.
Especially if it's another country and you're traveling a long distance.
Yeah, exactly. So that's number one. And number two is, this is so important, dress respectfully. Like, for example, when you go into a Buddhist temple, you have to cover your head, or when I was in Israel, you have to wear a skirt to go to the Wailing Wall or whatever. So you have to really research that. And I saw a woman in Israel, which is, this was 2018, but she was in a bathing suit top. I mean, just have some respect for the culture. And I like to wear a scarf so I can put it on my head or I can put it around my shoulders, or because you can't really have arms showing. Just research where you're going, which leads to the next one, which is number three. Observe, the etiquette of the place.
Yeah. So, like, what do you mean by etiquette?
Well, speak softly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't be going in and, you really...
Like you're in Disneyland?
Right, exactly. And always in these kinds of places and temples and monasteries and places that I've gone to, you have to take your shoes off. And you're going to have to know that you're going to take your shoes off. So just put them respectfully and, go inside. And another point on this is, if they're praying, just follow the prayer. If they're circumambulating a site, then don't go the other way. Just try to blend into the rest of the pilgrims as much as possible. And for goodness sake, avoid public display of affection. I mean, that's just, in some cultures, it's just almost against the law sometimes. Did you know that?
No.
Yes, you have to be very, very mindful.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And number four is altitude and climate. So, for example, I just got back from Bhutan last October. It snowed. So you have to do some research on, and I'm just going to be at 14,000 feet when I was hiking Tiger's Nest. So you've got to really have your pack list and make sure that you're, you're bringing layers and that sort of thing. And I always have a color story so that everything I can go in, like everything matches. So if something's dirty, I haven't washed it yet, then everything kind of goes together. It just makes packing a lot simpler. And number five is photography and technology etiquette. I actually saw people in Tibet taking pictures of monks and older women, and that is horrifying to them. And you should always go up and ask, would it be okay if I take your picture? On one of my trips last year, I think I was in Egypt or Bhutan, I fell in love with this old woman, her little grandson. So I tried to, I didn't speak the language, so she grabbed the camera and she took pictures of us. So that, so just, just be mindful of that. And number six is respect the environment. Don't touch sacred sites. I have to tell you, Perla, you know me a lot. You've known me a very long time. And I've evolved into a more conscious person. But in 2005, true story, when I was in Tibet, we went to 27 monasteries. I was there for weeks and weeks. I needed a manicure. So I get to the monastery and there's this big, huge, candle that had this wonderful wax. And I was just like, Can you imagine? Everybody on our trip was so hard. Don't do that. don't do that. So just really be mindful of the space that you're in, and don't just try not to touch anything. And normally they have, like, a lot of times they have things roped off that you don't have to. Just be aware of the opening hours. That's gotten to be too. And
You've seen in the news lately a lot of stories about people moving the boulders in the sacred sites, and like in
that's so
Utah.
true. And they have you on film, thank
Yes.
God, and those people got fined.
Yeah,
Why would you do that? Just
don't
leave it alone. Just be respectful. And then I think it's important to, number 8 is to engage with the local culture. Hire a guide. That's the best thing you could do, because they know the language and they can get you in places. I also like to support the artisans. I like to buy things there, and I try to learn, I'm not good at foreign languages, as you know, but I like to learn a few languages, phrases that would help me say thank you, or where's the bathroom,
Yes.
or something like that. And lastly, and to me, this is the most important thing, be open to spiritual experiences that you may have, and show up with just an empty, like, no expectations. But sometimes when you're there, most of the times when you're there, the most amazing things happen if you don't expect them. So just allow that sort of, and not have don't filter that through your logic. And be careful if you have those spiritual experiences who you tell, because they're going to filter it through their logic, right?
Yeah.
So just like, don't expect it, but be grateful if there's something that happens. But more importantly, just take time to reflect.
Gratitude is
Gratitude, and honor the beliefs and practices where you are. And the sacred sites hold energy and wisdom for centuries. And the fact that you're there, absolutely, just be so full of gratitude.
Can you feel the energy when you're there?
I really can. It's a good question. I really can, because I think there's acupuncture points in the earth where the veil is very thin. And we know this because thousands of people have gone to walk El Camino de Santiago with me when I was in Spain. And I actually almost felt the other pilgrims walking with me through time. I mean, it was that sort of reverence that I had. And you can feel yourself being different in that space. And there's some places on the earth that I go to that heal me. Like when I got cancer, there's this particular place north of Sedona in Boynton Canyon, which is the ancient burial ground for the medicine man of Native American tribes and chiefs, and certainly a respectful place. And I go there and just sit with the ancient ones. I ask permission before I go in. I thank them when I leave, as in any sacred site I go to. That's just me. So if you see me standing outside the stones in Scotland, you're talking to myself. I'm not going crazy. I'm just saying, may I enter, I'll do no harm, I'll touch you. I'm just, that sort of thing.
That's why you come back so nice when you come back.
For a week or two, right? Yeah. So I hope these tips have helped. Y'all ask us questions. And if you like this, you can click and share this.
Yes. And come back and see us.
And for goodness sake, we'd love for you to think deeply,
Speak gently.
love much,
Laugh a lot.
work hard,
Give
freely. And for goodness sake, let's be kind. Thanks, y'all. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.